Well, this is the move that we have been anticipating for some time. The Las Vegas Raiders have officially released quarterback Derek Carr. This became the expected outcome after Carr told the Raiders that he is not going to waive his no-trade clause, making a trade impossible for the Raiders. This news was reported by NFL insider Adam Schefter. Shefty also noted that the Saints as well as the Panthers are among the teams expected to be interested in Carr's services. The Raiders are making this move today in order to avoid being on the hook for $40 million in guarantees over the next 2 seasons on Carr's contract. Those guarantees would have become due tomorrow. Instead, Carr will immediately become a free agent and can sign with any team that he wants, and he should have plenty of suitors as he's currently the top quarterback option available. When healthy and when playing at the top of his game, Carr has proven that he can be a top 12 quarterback in the NFL. He regressed quite a bit last season in the first year under Josh McDaniels, but prior to that, he had a career year in 2021 under interim head coach Rich Bisaccia and offensive coordinator Greg Olson. The John Gruden regime was the one who was really able to get the best out of Derek Carr over these past few years, so if he could go to a similar situation to that, he would probably be fruitful and have success again. The closest situation to that, in my opinion, would be the New Orleans Saints. This now officially ends Carr's 9-year tenure with the Raiders. He was a former second-round pick by them in 2014 when they were still with Oakland. In 2017, the Raiders signed him to a 5-year, $125 million extension that included $70 million in guaranteed money. He stood to make a base salary of $19.77 million in the final year of that contract and was set to be an unrestricted free agent in 2023 when he signed a 3-year, $121 million extension. Last season, Carr appeared in 15 games before he was benched for the final 2 in favor of Jarrett Stidham and completed 60.8% of his passes for 3,522 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. He also rushed for 102 yards. Now that is in comparison to 2021 when he completed 68.4% of his passes for 4,800 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. He was much more efficient last season than he was this season in his first year under Josh McDaniels, and it wasn't even close. Now there's also the human element to all of this. Ever since I converted this channel to an all-NFL channel, I try not to let my bias as a Broncos fan seep out, but I'm going to a little bit here, especially my bias against Josh McDaniels. We've seen Josh McDaniels alienate his relationship with his starting quarterback before. Back when he was the head coach of the Denver Broncos, he did the exact same thing with Jay Cutler in 2008. Now, granted, I was only 8 years old at the time, but based on how I remember it, Josh McDaniels completely alienated his relationship with Jay Cutler, basically cut off almost all contact with him, and basically made it well known that he was going to be trade bait. Now, this wasn't the smokin' Jay that we know of Jay Cutler when he was with the Bears. This was when Jay Cutler was still viewed in the NFL as a bright young quarterback prospect with a gunslinger of an arm. You have to wonder what the future of Denver would have looked like had they not traded away Jay Cutler and had Josh McDaniels not completely destroyed that relationship. Jay Cutler tried many times to reach out to McDaniels and offer an olive branch, but it seemed like McDaniels wanted nothing of it. Now, we haven't exactly gotten details on what went down between Derek Carr and Josh McDaniels this year, but I have to imagine that something did. Derek Carr has said that he wants to go ahead and tell the truth one day, but he's not going to do that right now out of respect of everyone involved. That just goes to show the class act that Derek Carr is, but I swear, man, Josh McDaniels, he's had history of being an absolute D-bag to his players before, so you're not going to sit here and convince me that that isn't the case here. I know what Josh McDaniels is as a coach and as a man, and he's someone who is petty and low and does not communicate well with his players at all. That's what I worry happened here, and I'm absolutely happy that Derek Carr has gotten out of that situation. Carr did give the Raiders one last big fuck you, though, as he told them that he was not going to waive his no-trade clause, forcing them to release him and not being able to net any compensation for him. Carr went down and took a visit with the New Orleans Saints earlier in the week, and he probably still has interest to go there, but he told the Raiders that he had no interest of being traded there, and that's just simply to give the Raiders the big old middle finger on the way out. I love it. As a Broncos fan, I love it, and as a Derek Carr fan, I love it. The Raiders are a dysfunctional organization being run by dysfunctional people, and this is a prime example of it. I am absolutely happy that Derek Carr is out of there, and personally, I hope that he goes to New Orleans because that would be a really good situation for him. Carolina, another good situation. They're building a really nice staff there under Frank Reich, and I really feel like he's going to turn around the culture in Carolina. So those are two options that I feel like would be really good ones for Derek Carr's services. I'm curious, Raider Nation, how do you guys feel about the organization burning the bridge with the relationship between Derek Carr? Drop those comments down below. I would love to hear from you. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. And while you're at it, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Gage Madrid NFL for continuing NFL coverage. And for now, this has been another episode of Sparkin Sports NFL. I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.